Yeah. We back with another one. Yeah.
What's going on, Juco?
We reacting over here. I'm El Jefe. We just gonna like and subscribe. Have fun. Kick back. Myth Cartel. Y'all like and subscribe because you're gonna love it. This is Myth Cartel channel. Go ahead and like, subscribe. We gonna keep going fed until we go live. I'm El Jefe, the big boss, kicking at Third Coast. We going, running, smiling, man. We doing the most to my family. I wish you the best. Remember what Jefe taught you, boy. Say it with your chest. Big boy, big boss. I rock it in the South. Got these folks slugs and all this gold shining in my mouth. I'm the man, understand, like and subscribe. We gon' keep spinning the block until we get it right. Yeah, that's real, like and subscribe, that's the channel. We keep it real, give you more than you can handle. Yeah, like and subscribe. Myth Cartel, I'm El Jefe. All right. We back with another one. Myth Cartel channel. Y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Fix my shirt. Ooh, he's sexy. All right, so let's see here. We got us another one. I told y'all we're going to do these Fear Thy Neighbors, man. We're going to go through these ones, man. They long, though. That's why I got to do them, at a time, man. I can't be just doing all of them, I'm going, boo-boo. But y'all, how y'all doing today, man? Myth Cartel channel. Y'all like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jefe. I'm going to be your host. Let's see what we got going on right here in the cooker here. So we got Fear Thy Neighbor. This one's supposed to be saucy, so we're going to check it out. But yeah, like I said, ooh, clear my throat. Sorry about that. We're going to watch these, break them down, dissect. Let's check it. Let's get it. We ain't going to waste no time. Because they be going up quick.
Vivint is for you, and you, and you.
How much should good car insurance cost you a month? $80? $120? Nope. Try $38.
How much did that haircut cost?
Hey, look who it is.
They say
$300, $400, $500.
He was super excited about living in the house that he grew up in.
Heard you bought your folks' place. To Del Vecchio.
Why that man look
Not
so
every
mean?
homecoming is a celebration.
To the Del Vecchio.
Old people gotta be so mean.
I think fairly quickly he realized that he should just stay away.
I think Del Vecchio had it in for Scott since he was a kid.
Starting again.
When old grudges resurface,
You and your brothers have always been bullies. Here's this guy.
Here we go.
My son.
the results.
Here we go, y'all.
He just stared at me, and I stared at him.
He wanted everybody to fear him.
And he said, look at what he's doing, and doesn't that bother you?
You're asking for it.
That old man look like he just wake up in the morning to go off on somebody. The original Kevin. Y'all like and subscribe to the Cartel channel. I'm
is a
Jefe.
suburb of
I'm gonna be your
Philadelphia
host.
that's a friendly, active community.
We could run up and down the streets, ride our bikes all over. Just a lot of close relationships. Everybody knew everybody.
The area is so welcoming
Oh, that
families
Cheers
stay
neighborhood,
for
baby.
generations.
A lot of people stay there. Some people buy the house off their folks.
After
He
almost
look
20
like he been
years
in a few of them
away, Scott
videos
Robbins
back
is
in the
moving
day. A
back
few
home.
films.
Scott met Teresa
The way he looked like
married
he
her.
been in some film.
and eventually ended up that they bought our house when we moved out.
Oh, okay.
He was super excited about being able to buy the house and living in the house that he grew up in.
Scott is a master mechanic. Teresa, a courthouse clerk. Scott's two stepkids, Michael and Kristen, are just finishing high school.
Oh, look who's back.
Mom, I get
So miss you, buddy. When he came back, there was Franny Freeman and John Hoffman next door. Everybody, that he had grown up with was there.
Franny.
Yeah.
Buddy. It's like old
Understandable.
times.
Oh, it was great to have him back. I always liked Scott.
My wife,
Hi.
Lisa, here's Mike, Chris.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much.
My mom and Scott, they were happy that, you know, they were gonna own their own house after
Of
recently
course.
getting married. We were all pretty happy about that.
What are friends for, you know?
For Scott, the move brings back memories of the fun he used to have with his older brothers.
Altogether, we had 5 children. There was 3 sons and 2 daughters. My boys used to hang around together, play a lot, you know, play around in the backyard.
They're boys.
A lot of the backyards butted up to each other. You pretty much knew what was going on at your neighbor's house.
Heard you bought your folks' place.
Oh, hell, here we go.
So Della Vecchia.
John Wayne.
Yeah, feels good to be home. Hey, Mr. Della Vecchia. Nice to see you.
James Della Vecchia and his wife Diane have lived behind the Robbins family for over 30 years, while raising 2 sons of their own.
My house and their house was a good
30
distance.
years.
He was around the corner,
That's a long time.
our backyards adjoined. The one son was named James. The other one was Kenny. They both got to know my 2 boys.
Fly these with your boys still? Nah. It was a long time ago. Yeah. Well, good times, though.
The neighboring families first met back in the 1970s.
Back in the gap.
My dad used to build model airplanes with my brothers, and they had like little motors on them. They'd go out and fly them.
It turned out that Jimmy DeVecchio and Kenny also had an interest.
Hey, nice wings.
Yeah, we're obsessed.
Yeah, so are we.
I'm James. This is my son, Kenny.
These are my boys, Woody and Scott.
Hey, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We found out that we were both engineers and got along fine. We would go fly, and they would want to come along.
Here's to the old days.
I'll start over here.
Yeah, but Boosie bad. Boosie said it.
Okay.
Boosie Boo said it first. He said,
Since his return,
if you've been
Scott
around a
makes a
person for
point
that
of
long,
helping
30
neighbors
years,
with their
and
lawns.
then all of a sudden they don't like you, they never did
That's
like
just
you.
the kind of
They
guy
were just
he
waiting on the
was. He
right
just, like,
opportunity.
if you needed a hand at anything and he knew it, he'd be right there.
That's
Oh,
anybody.
hey, Mr. Sanders. Oh, meet Kristen, my stepdaughter.
Hi.
Kristen had a personality a lot like Scott, just really easygoing, laid back, and just funny. She was a good kid.
The neighbors are more than happy to repay the favor.
I would always drop him off a case of beer. He would have did it without gifts, for sure.
Every time when we meet about the way on the block, I would say,
Hey, how many cases of beer do you think we'll get? I bet like 5.
5.
It was something that, you know, everyone appreciated, and it's very nice
That's
of them to
pretty
do it.
cool,
Didn't have
though,
to
man.
do it.
The Robbins
Pretty
family
good.
work their way into the community's hearts.
Yeah.
But some people prefer to keep their distance.
Did he hit him? Did he hit the old man? He hit the old man?
Let's do the Della Vecchias.
No, he didn't. No.
Let's go. Get raking.
Man, the old
Always
man might have
looking
hit
to
him
help,
first. I don't
no
know.
matter who it was.
No. Just can't. Those are delicate.
The grass is delicate?
Del Vecchio was real fussy with his lawn. So he didn't like anybody stepping foot on his grass. It was always immaculate.
I'm sorry.
I think fairly quickly he realized that, you know,
Don't
he
go
should
near
just,
this
you know,
crazy
just
guy.
stay away.
come on, don't get started. Thank
At least
you
he had a
for
decent
thinking
wife.
of
His
us.
wife was
Really,
decent.
thank you both.
Diane plays the peacemaker in her family.
It's usually one or the other.
Oh, she was
The
great,
husband or the
great
wife is
woman.
calmer.
Very nice, very sweet woman. I'm sure she felt a little taken back by, you know, his demeanor.
He's
Sorry,
probably having
James
a nervous
kinda thinks he
breakdown or
owns
his
this
brain
street.
was
He just doesn't want you
deteriorating.
taking over. Thanks for the tip.
He thought he owned the whole neighborhood. I'm sure it was a little frustrating for Scott, but he never wanted to start trouble.
Hey, you guys are popular.
Oh. Yeah, not with everyone. Hey, what's your old neighbor's problem?
James? Don't worry. Just avoid him.
Why?
For some reason, he just never liked me.
If he had a problem with my son, evidently he must have had some kind of a problem with me, but it never came to the surface. It was never discussed.
Decades later, James Dellavecchia's sentiments still haven't changed.
They had a graduation party for Michael out behind the house in the backyard.
My friends were invited, my extended family.
That's how the white
Scott's
people
cooking on the grill.
They be in the background.
Just
You ever watch like Saved by the Bell back in the day? Not two when they would shoot it and you look in the background at the people dancing, they just doing like this.
With, you know,
What the hell they
something
doing?
with the party going on.
What's wrong?
You know what's
Oh, he don't like that.
Starting again.
He don't like that. He don't like any of that.
Back in the day,
Scott, crank it up.
the Robbins brothers were known
Makes
for their
sense.
parties.
My older brothers would have.
So the old man
people
probably got
over and
dementia a little
have
bit, and he
parties in the
probably going
backyard.
back
Of course, you know,
and
music,
remembering
laughing.
when they were
Always
kids.
like to crank up the stereo.
It's late. Can you turn it down?
And I could almost
They were,
promise you, us as
doing little
boys
things
was
here and there, getting in
annoying
trouble in the
little
neighborhood,
a-holes
but
too, trust
not
me.
really anything really bad.
We
or
all are
dangerous.
when we're little. Teenagers. Both sides, girls and boys.
My older boys ended up throwing eggs at his house, and I'm not too proud of that.
"30 years later, James'
They
nasty memories of the
still
Robbins brothers
remember.
are still fresh.
Scott comes back and they're out in the yard making noise, so it's kind of like he's reliving all of that from years ago. Of
Yeah,
course, he's a lot
trauma
older
come
now,
back.
so it's even worse.
Yeah.
I just want to say how proud I am of my stepson. Congrats on
As the party progressed, Delvecchio started making complaints through the police.
Just gonna have to ask you to turn the music down.
is even loud.
I know, sir, but we've gotten 3 calls from your neighbor already today.
Damn, they just told him. Yo, neighbor, right there, that guy right there. That's wild.
No, I know. This is the thing for like the most ridiculous.
It's just really weird. Like, what's this guy's deal? Why is he picking Scott? Why is he picking, you know, our family?
You know something? You're still a jerk.
Well, you're still a bully. You and your brothers have always been bullies.
Brothers.
Evidently, they must have ruffled Delvecchio's feathers because he seemed to have held
Yeah,
on
he
to
said
a
they
grudge for
bullies.
those guys. So I'm sure he wasn't happy when Scott moved back.
I'm not gonna take it anymore. You hear me?
He just never let go. He couldn't see past the fact that, you know, Scott's a grown man now. He's not a young kid like he was.
It appears Scott's neighbor won't rest until he gets revenge.
It was hard for us to fathom just how, you know, angry and disturbed he was.
Did you put these under my boat?
You think I trust you?
Oh! Oh, he trying to run him over? This whole man off the chain. I didn't even know he
Because Scott was the one that brought the
Wow.
noise to the neighborhood.
Ooh, excuse me.
Delvecchio probably saw Scott as an annoyance. If he could intimidate people and scare people, then he could get rid of the noise.
James Dellavecchia's noise complaint shuts down the Robbins family party.
The party may have triggered memories for him. It's hard to say what was going on in his mind.
I wouldn't have reacted like Scott did. I mean, I wouldn't have shut it down. That's the way he was. He didn't want any trouble.
I'm really sorry.
That's okay. I'm taking off for the night. Okay?
Go. Have fun tonight.
I think Delvecchio had it in for Scott since he was a kid, and then especially when he moved back, he had tunnel vision on Scott.
After you grow up, you know, all the mistakes of your childhood, you clearly mature and you're a different person most times. So to hold that against someone coming into the neighborhood seemed kind of childish or immature.
Luckily, Scott has the perfect escape from the tension with his neighbor.
Scott was a huge fisherman. He fished all the time. Every striper season, he was down fishing off the jetty.
It was just relaxing for him. I think just, you know, in the thrill of the catch. He loved it.
This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. As big as your leg.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Before we see the fish as big as your leg, you're gonna head
There. This thing's dirty.
That's where you come in.
Naturally,
Yeah,
Scott is
I know
thrilled
that's
when his
right.
brother gives him an old fishing boat.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Oh, he loved it. As soon as he got home from work, he went to work.
But not everyone is a fan of Scott's acquisition.
This is great. I've always wanted a neighbor with a boat.
Just look at that thing.
I'd see him walking around the corner and always complaining, just chronic complaining to anybody that would listen.
Could use a fresh coat of paint, I guess.
Fresh coat of paint. You take your family out in that wreck?
It was no bother at all. It was a small boat. We kept it on the street, had a cover on it.
Oh, come on. He's my next door neighbor.
I don't
I've known him for years. You knew him when he was a kid. I think things have changed in 20 years.
Oh, no.
He would just reach out and try to get other people against Scott.
He would get all huffy and just leave and then be over another neighbor's complaining.
He's a weirdo.
Since he can't get other neighbors on board, James Delavecchia takes matters into his
Y'all
own
looking at what he
hands.
did to that. Oh, is that the
Delvecchio
old
did not
man
like
dressed
the
up like
fact
he
that
doing a
Scott put
drill?
that boat in the street.
He finna do a
He's just
drill.
like a bulldog. He bites onto it and he won't let go.
Y'all looking at this man, what he doing to this man. Just imagine what his wife went through inside that house. Yeah, put nails under the truck.
The next morning, Scott discovers the trap.
Oh, he put it under the boat.
Scott came out and there was nails underneath his tires. It was Delvecchio. I mean, no one else would do that.
Did you put these under my boat? Hey!
Your boat's parked illegally.
I'm fixing it up. It'll be done by the weekend.
You think I trust you? You are a liar. You always have been.
The whole time that I lived there, I had no problems with DeVecchio. But now
He was
all of a
scared
sudden,
of you.
here's this guy.
Pops,
that
he was
hates my
scared of you.
son.
That's why.
Move.
He bullied the kid when he was little, so he tried to bully him now. He's scared of you though, Daddy. Daddy wasn't playing. Daddy was ready to give him them hands when they was young. Daddy said, "Come on over here and catch these hands." Delvecchio said, "I ain't finna come over there and get that butt whooping." But
When
now his
James
son, he
returns,
think he can bully him.
He's annoyed to see the
A
eyesore
lot of older
still
people
there.
do this because they feel
He
like they
would
can't be
walk
touched
around
and
the
all that
block,
too.
But it was almost as he was purposely coming by our house. Delvecchio wasn't on
Messing
our
with his
block.
stuff?
He was around the corner.
You don't even live on my street. Beat it.
You're breaking the law.
I said leave.
Scott's neighbor isn't backing down.
I'm calling the police.
Go ahead.
He wanted to make sure that when he spoke, everyone listened and did what he wanted them to do.
When police arrive, Scott is more than compliant.
Same actor.
Sir? Hey. I'm gonna have to ask you to move your boat.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry about the trouble. No problem.
He was very respectful and courteous to the police.
To adhere to the bylaw, Scott simply has to move the boat completely onto his property.
Your compliance now. Have a great day.
Have a good one.
Scott, was quick to comply with moving the boat, and
That made him
when
mad,
he did,
boy.
I think
That
it
made
almost
him
made
mad.
Delvecchio more angry because Scott
Oh yeah,
kept the boat.
he's seething right now.
You're still a con man.
Hey, what are you doing?
Look at that eyesore. Why is he allowed to get away with that? What is his problem?
He ain't got
Today
nobody
we're
to
covering
beef
how to
with.
take control of
That
your
boy wants some
presence. Let's
smoke.
start by
That's what it
downloading
is.
the
He wants some
Experience app.
smoke.
Decide between all the
He ain't got
credit cards
nobody
now.
to beef with. He said, y'all think I'm playing these games?
Just won't let go of the past.
I'm going to keep going.
I think it amped him up. Delvecchio wasn't getting his way,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that fired him up
That
even
pissed
more.
him off.
Scott may have won this round, but James has
You gotta
no
be careful with
plans
them
to
older
surrender.
guys. They be crazy, demented.
Being labeled
They
the
be ready to
mayor of the
go
neighborhood,
anyway.
everyone kind of just appeased him. He acted like it was his place, and you had to do what he wanted.
Scott's family has moved into a war zone, and there's no end in sight.
Scott was just trying to be complacent and smooth it over and not try to cause any more waves and give
And that's why he kept
Delvecchio
doing it. He
any more
should've-
fuel for his fire.
Should have got right up on his butt, right then and there, whooped his butt, taught him a lesson, then he
And
would have
James
stopped
has
after
already
that.
come up with a new plan of attack. But this time, there's a witness.
James? It was Saturday morning, and I saw Delvecchio trying to light a piece of paper on fire, and then he threw it on top of the boat. So I went out. I said, "Yo, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm tired of all this junk out here."
Are you doing you out of your mind? You should be supporting me.
And I'm like, "It doesn't bother me."
Did she do this?
Yeah.
Touch my boat again? You're asking for it.
You have to call the police, man.
Scott's neighbors are growing increasingly concerned for his safety.
You know, I thought he should contact the police about
He
it.
should have.
Because
if he would have
who
did
knows
anything
what's
to
gonna
him,
be
then they
next.
would have had paper trail showing, hey, man, look.
Was in a position
I had to
where
throw this
he
old man
was
across this yard
faced
to
with
this wall
somebody that
because he
wanted
got
to
on my
hurt him,
nerves.
And it was getting to be obvious. It just went on, and next thing you know, it ended up bad.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what happened?
Hand it.
What happened? Don't tell me nothing happened to his wife. What happened? What? Oh, it's coming back. I be impatient. I be wanting to know what happened. Y'all sorry.
Seemed like this guy might not, be making good, sane decisions.
Hell
After
no,
the
he
fire,
crazy.
James Delvecchio's anger towards Scott continues to escalate.
Who does that? Who tries to set someone's boat on fire?
Yeah, a crazy
Scott
person.
did, was wrong. He had it in for Scott.
Teresa reaches out to Scott's father for advice.
She was very concerned with the fact that he threw something burning in there and I would assume, tried to set it on fire. I said, yes, definitely. I think you should call the police on that.
Your dad thinks we should report him. Grandpa's right.
So this was the first time I think that really wow, this is different.
I'm not worried about an old crank.
Scott really wasn't interested in building any type of feud with Delvecchio.
Hey, it'll sort itself out. Don't worry.
He wouldn't file a report with the police.
greatest
He would just
last words
shrug
of
it
every
off
great
and,
man.
Hope that Delvecchio found something better to do with his time.
The Robbins family tries to move on and continue life in their new home.
All right.
But even an innocent game provokes their hostile neighbor.
We moved in, we had the yard, so we started playing wiffle ball. We designed the field
Oh,
so
yeah,
that the
wiffle
pitcher
ball.
was throwing the ball towards his yard so that no one was hitting the ball into his yard.
He was that one neighbor that if your ball went in the yard, you might as well forget it. It's gone.
It's gone.
You're not getting it back.
Yeah, I can see that.
But still, you would get some foul tips, balls that would go up in the air and just land on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
I'll grab it.
They should have known better. They knew he was caught. He tried to burn the house down. Come on, man. You already know what you got going on. Yeah, he stopped him. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Scott, Scott know better.
My brother.
Scott said, no.
James is still mad about it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Back in the day, Scott's brother Woody always lost foul balls over the fence.
There was a fight between my older brother and his son, just
Oh,
boys being boys.
now the story unravels. So his sons
Hand it over.
beat up, one of his sons beat up Delvecchio's son. That's what it was. It was over that.
Hey, you all right? Oh, okay, Dad.
That's where the beef comes from. His daddy never let that grudge go.
You little animal.
Delvecchio thought Scott was part of the mischief. Scott, a lot of times, was roped in with them.
Even growing up, my older brothers would pick on Scott or whatever. He would just kind of laugh it off and walk away.
Your son can come into the yard, just not over the fence.
Delvecchio could have simply picked it up and threw it back over the fence, but he's not the type of guy. And he said, if you want it, you need to walk all the way around.
Can I?
Scott isn't convinced. Getting the ball won't be that easy.
I'm gonna be late for work.
Once Scott leaves, Mike braves the trip around the corner anyway.
I went in and saw him, and he just creepily just stared at me. And so it was pretty weird.
What's going on?
I grabbed that wall and it took off.
Michael didn't ever want to go back again. That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
From here on, Mike and Kristen play it safe on the front lawn.
Oh. What, are you trying to hit me?
What happened out back?
We can't play there.
Yeah, he's too creepy.
Relax, okay?
Scott, didn't want to escalate things. He was, just wanted to come home, live his life there. He was happy.
I guarantee you, we're gonna outlast him, okay?
Yeah.
Come on, let's eat. I'm hungry.
They are
Scott
younger.
may be able to ignore James Dellavecchia, but his family can't shake him.
He just stared at me, and I stared at him. I was staring his ass down.
What's wrong with that jerk?
It's okay.
Kids don't like it. They like, he can't be doing that.
I would see him walking by, and he'd always be staring up at Scott's. It was a little creepy.
You guys should have got him a pit bull or a rot. Every time that man came, let him loose. Tore his butt up. He would have never came back over there no more after that. Get it, boy, get it. He said drumsticks on the drum line. That's what I'm talking about.
Chevy Equinox EV starting at $34,995. Go EV without changing a thing.
Not bad
Chevrolet.
for that car. For that car. That's a new car. Brand new. Not bad.
Scott comes up with a plan to distract his family and also gain some much-needed privacy.
Scott got the idea of building a shed, 8 by 16 in the back corner of the yard.
What do you think?
A shed? This is amazing.
I'm in.
To kind of make it like a man cave where he can work on little projects, keep his stuff.
The shed was being built in the back corner of the yard, which abutted Delvecchia's property.
The new construction catches James by surprise.
I'm sure the noise was probably amplified to him because it was so close to his house, and I think that's what started his rage.
Stop that! You can't just build there.
Yeah, I can.
You're blocking my view.
Exactly.
The shed would block Delvecchio's view of Scott's. So I'm sure that upset Delvecchio
smart.
that he couldn't view that anymore. Couldn't
was
keep
smart.
an eye on them. Couldn't complain about anything.
After months of feuding, the shed is his last straw.
Uh-oh.
The shed was the breaking point. The
Was
level
it?
of noise that was occurring.
I would have thought
really
him throwing a fire
agitated
into my
him and
boat
elevated
would have been a
things.
I
breaking
guess he
point.
thought he was
He'd have
harmless.
got popped.
Big mistake.
Anybody that interfered would pay the price.
You're still a con man. Stop spying. No.
That man got an issue with him deep, boy. It's deep in his
During
soul.
the construction of his shed, There were cops out there constantly.
James Dellavecchia does everything in his power to stop Scott Robbins from building his shed.
Calls to the police.
It's crazy how he called him and then stand in this man's front of his house and
Scott's
watch
working
him.
past hours.
Legally, construction must stop by 7 p.m.
Dellavecchia must have been standing there looking at his wristwatch, and it's actually on record at 7:01 that he called that Scott was still working on that shed.
Wow.
Neighbors watch in disbelief as James wages war.
And all of them hate him. Everyone in the neighborhood hated him.
James had started to complain to him. And he said, you know, well, look at what he's doing, and doesn't that bother you? I mean, it didn't bother anybody else, just him.
That's the whole point. He mad because he
Obviously,
can't annoy
Delvecchia
him now.
calls up and make sure that it's up to spec. So code enforcers there checking it out.
He got all the permits. I'm sure he was meeting code on everything because he wanted to do it right.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any problem with what he was doing.
Everything he tried failed, getting Scott to stop building the shed. He didn't have that power over Scott to get him to stop.
That's what happens when you have your paperwork, I guess.
Yeah, everything looks good.
Yeah. It's just too good.
All right.
For James, this isn't just about his views.
Yeah, Scott.
The noise.
Scott out
is
there
unbearable.
jamming. James know he want to go out there and dance with his wife. He just don't want to do it because he'd be in a butthole. But he know he want. James know he want to go out there and dance.
His place that he
Music, one of the most
treasured more than
beautiful
anything
things in the world, man.
Anybody that interfered would pay the price.
He look like my old middle
like
school
anything that had to do with
geometry
noise
teacher.
was really
That man was mean as hell and breath stunk like.
There was a lot of complaints from Dellavecchia to the police, and it got to the point where I understand the police disregarded his complaints.
Yeah, they
and
just
kept
stopped talking,
calling
stopped
and
listening to
calling
him.
and calling.
We
You're
don't
getting a
want
lot
to
of work done here.
Yeah, I am.
Every nail sends him closer to the edge.
Delvecchio
This
is
was
not
something that was
having
large,
it.
and it was in his face constantly, and was going to be in his face constantly,
Yeah,
and he couldn't
yeah.
stop it.
What's wrong, dear?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I want to sell the house.
Okay.
Instead of conceding, James's rage spikes.
And this was probably the first instance where Delvecchio wasn't getting his way completely.
Yeah. And then you got to think with the dementia he probably had, all
Scott
that
was
noise.
sweeping up the driveway, and John.
Oh, here we go,
Hoffman
here we
was
go, y'all. Here we go, y'all ready?
Talking to him.
No, I'm starting to think he's actually.
Let's see what happened.
Oh, come on.
I seen this in the
I think
preview.
Scott really looked at him.
I
as
just
a
saw
threat.
part of it when they showed the little,
I
little
think he
thing.
looked at him more as just a grumpy old man.
Scott may not feel intimidated, but he's sick of being watched.
Knock it off.
What? So then you need to call them
Delvecchio
people,
actually
man. He tried to
swerved his
run you
car
over.
and almost ran up on the curb trying to hit Scott.
Are you okay?
He tried to kill him.
That's crazy.
What's that?
Scott was always trying to avoid conflict, but he started to get more worried. Things were clearly getting worse.
It's getting out of hand. The man tried to run you
Along with
over.
The nails and the setting fire to the boat, that was another thing that Scott probably should have reported to the police. But being the way he was, he didn't.
Scott won't fuel James Dellavecchia's fire by calling the cops. And he's determined to finish building his shed.
I remember Scott saying, I have the right to build this shed. He can't tell me that I can't have this shed.
Now that construction is almost finished, there's no chance of peace between the two men.
Everything Scott did bothered him. From cars in the driveway, to boats out front, to kids playing ball in his yard, to building a shed.
Dellavecchio could have easily said, look, if you do this or you do that, I won't bother you anymore and we'll be friends and life goes on. But
He wasn't trying
that
to.
never happened.
He was trying to cause
Scott will do
conflict. He
whatever it
wanted an
takes
issue.
to protect his family.
Scott was able to kind of shield us from Delvecchio by just kind of dealing with him and before it ever got to us.
But no one could have predicted the terrible outcome.
I don't think
What's
Scott
that?
ever really knew that it could come to this. He never really thought it could go to that next
Man,
level.
don't tell me. I was wondering why we didn't get to see him. Where's Scott, man? Come on, man. Don't tell me. Come on, man.
Not everyone agrees
All right, let's see
on what
what's going
happens
on. Let's see
next.
what happens.
This is James Della Vecchia's version of events. It's just before dawn, and James is startled awake.
James said that he had heard somebody in his backyard. He heard some noise, and he said that he heard footsteps. So he grabbed his gun.
Lying like a mug. He got
James
diabetes.
said that he had followed the footsteps and basically took the long way around the block to my brother's house.
As James approaches, he catches Scott on the way to work.
I told you, stop spying on me.
He said Scott had come out and started yelling at him and kind of, you know, what are you doing out here and why are you out here, and, you know, pushed him around. And in the scuffle, he had grabbed his gun and it went off. And Kristen ran outside because she heard a noise and didn't know what it was.
No. Kristen, go back in the house. Go back.
He said he just saw somebody come out the corner of
she
his
ain't go
eye, and I
back?
think he just kind of reaction turned the gun towards her and shot her.
James flees the scene, leaving Scott and Kristen fighting for their lives.
The shooting had stopped, and then I heard a woman's voice calling for help. Just calling for help.
The gunfire awakens the entire neighborhood, but it's so
That's
dark,
crazy,
no one
man.
can see anything.
I got on the phone, called 911.
Hey, there's shooting outside my house.
The gunshots woke me up, and I looked out the window, and then I saw Franny Friedman come running across the street.
Freeman is first on the scene and rushes to Kristen's side.
Hey, are you okay?
Goodness, poor baby.
Scott.
I saw Scotty laying there. His eyes were open, and I told him, you know, it was Franny from across the street, and I held his hand.
Hang in there, buddy. Who's coming? Cops are here. Cops are here, okay?
Let me see your hands.
Oh, this is Scott Robin.
Of course, as a precaution, they had their guns drawn. He came up and I kind of explained the situation. This is Scotty Robbins, you know, this is his house. The officer asked Scotty, you know, who did it.
Your neighbor?
They already know who he is,
I need
too.
an ambulance and multiple officers. We got a shooting.
They already know exactly who he is. At least
Scott
let the
and
girls
Kristen are
know.
rushed to hospital, while police track down James Della Vecchia.
It devastated the neighborhood. I mean, people were just,
I
they
bet.
couldn't believe it happened.
It was just awful. It was just so sad.
Blood just washed down the driveway.
I didn't know they were gunshots. I knew it was bad.
I was afraid. I was just afraid to go outside. Till the day I die, I think I will never forget hearing Scott moan. I will never forget that.
The policeman went right around the corner, went to DeVecchio's house, went in.
He was at home. He had run home, and when the police got there, he was upstairs.
The gun and all his like paraphernalia for cleaning it and so forth was sitting out on the bed.
James Della Vecchia is arrested for shooting Scott and Kristen, but claims he acted in self-defense.
My wife said, you might want to come home because Scott's in the hospital and he's been shot. When I got home, for some reason, I just knew it. I felt it.
Yeah, father knows.
You know, that he was going.
Scott Robbins' wounds are too severe, and he dies in surgery. His stepdaughter is critically injured, but survives.
Thank you, Jesus.
And I really just didn't want to believe
Was that her?
that
I thought that was his
it
wife.
had actually happened. It's probably one of the
Yeah, that's his wife.
other hardest things I've ever done is tell my mom that her son was shot and he was killed and he's not coming back.
Around here, it's not a patio.
Or was it the daughter? She said her
I
mom.
love those chairs.
No, because she said her son was
As
killed
low
and
as
not coming back.
$22 a month for car insurance. Your insurance company doesn't want you to see this, but I'm going to show you anyway.
All I wanted to do was get my hands on DeVecchio for about 5 minutes.
I bet.
But of course, that didn't happen.
bet.
Eventually, the trial began.
Almost a year after the shooting, James Della Vecchia is tried for the first-degree murder of Scott Robbins and the attempted murder
Yeah, he
of Kristen
old, too.
Snow.
I told you.
He got one M and an
At
attempt.
trial, a combination of witness testimony and ballistic evidence disproves James's self-defense claim.
They determined the shooting wasn't done at the end of the driveway. It was done from the bushes where DeVecchio was hiding.
And he said Scott attacked him, which none of it was true.
Investigators catch a break when a key witness surfaces and reveals the true story behind the deadly shooting.
Scott had a company truck. There was another fella in the truck. It was one of Scott's helpers.
Scott's apprentice, Rick Wallace, was in the truck when the bullets flew. He was getting a ride to work with Scott that morning.
His apprentice was sitting in the passenger side. Once they found his apprentice, he told them what had happened.
Using both Rick and Kristen's accounts, investigators can finally piece together an accurate story of the tragedy.
Good morning. Took you long enough.
Scott opened the door, and DeVecchio had been hiding in some shrubbery on the side of the house, and he came out with his gun. And shot Scott 5 times in the back. And 2 more shots went in
That's
one
crazy.
each arm.
Run, Rick! Run!
He told the other kid, run, get out of here.
Run!
James shoots Scott a total of 7 times.
He even
Not
tried to
knowing
save that
which way
boy's
to
life
go.
as he was
His
going
apprentice
down.
rolled under the van, and then he saw white sneakers walking towards the front of the van, so he rolled out and ran the other way. He was just trying to get out of the range of the bullets.
I heard run, Rick, run. And the guy running down the street from Scott's house. It ended up being Rick. Apparently, Della Vecchia had taken a shot at him running away, too. Thank God he missed him.
Kristen is the only one home and runs outside when she hears the shots.
I didn't know they were going to. I really thought it was like kids playing with firecrackers.
James puts a bullet in Kristen's hip.
Even after I was shot, it almost felt like the paintball, like shooting, but then it traveled through my body. Like, I knew it was bad.
Delvecchio proceeded over closer
He
to
stood
her
over her?
and put the gun to her head.
He stood over her?
Like, I couldn't do anything. I was already paralyzed from the waist down from the first bullet.
He pulled the trigger.
He was gonna put her out.
And then when he realized his gun was either jammed or out of ammo, he just turned around and walked away. My worst regret is the fact that my dad knew I was hurt.
Yeah, and he couldn't do nothing. He
And
just had
I
to
feel
let it.
really sad that he had to die knowing. And the last words I heard from my dad was that he did it.
A jury convicts James Della Vecchia of first-degree murder, and he gets life without parole.
Yeah, he gonna die now.
He dies just 5 years into his sentence.
Didn't even have to do no time. He died 5 years in.
Teresa and the kids are devastated by their loss.
Teresa said, I just can't take it anymore because what had happened after Scott was shot as many times as he was, blood just washed down the driveway. And she said, I can't get that out of my mind. She said, I just can't take it.
It kind of changed the family forever.
Mm-hmm. It
For
will.
years, Kristen suffers
It will.
tremendously from her injuries.
Kristen was in a coma for about 6 weeks, and then she had countless surgeries after. He used Halopoint bullets,
so it
which are
fragmented on
designed to,
impact.
you know, kick around when it hits flesh, so it completely tore up her intestinal system, coloscopy bag, you know, the whole deal. They were definitely significant life-changing injuries.
He took away my health at 23. I never got my 20s. I don't have my 30s. I don't have family.
8 years after the shooting, Kristen succumbs to her wounds.
No.
After trying to work for years, she wasn't able to collect disability despite the obvious injuries. But
she rests
you
in
know,
peace, man.
continued on with life, tried to
That's
do the
crazy
best she
they wouldn't give
could,
her disability.
And ultimately, it caught up with her.
Man, they're both rest in
Scott
peace.
is
That's
mourned
sad.
by all who knew him.
That
It
was sad.
Just a great person. Everyone that, you know, met him outside of the Vecchio loved him.
Well, I can tell you what I lost. Scott, to me, was a son like everybody should have. One time he says, "You're the best daddy in the world. I love you."
Woo. Woo. Was that a tough one, y'all? That was a tough one, wasn't it? I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes they be getting like that, though. But that's crazy, though, man. Like the dude, you know, and he ain't even do nothing but 5 years. That's crazy. 5 years in the penitentiary. That's it. Man, unless somebody found out. Now, somebody might be watching the ID to give her a feel our neighbor and called him and said, "Ooh, baby, got me one now." But that's just crazy, man. And then the little girl, too, man. That's just crazy. Whew. But y'all like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. I'm Hefe. We're going to keep on rocking. To my family, love y'all. To everybody else, be breezy.